Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I did that all backwards. I planned that for a while and I didn't do it right at all. But welcome back to the Power Hour podcast. I'm here with Ahmed and I'm so excited for this episode because Ahmed's built such a cool solution for model-driven apps and effectively working to give you a more powerful alternative to business rules. And basically what we're going to do is it's more of a special episode. We're going to go through his solution, his kind of mindset, his thought process and why he built it, and perhaps some of the challenges and struggles he faced with that, and also, what are next steps with this solution. So, Ahmed, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Alan. Thanks for having me. So I'm Ahmed. I'm from Jordan. Currently residing in Belgium. Expert in Microsoft Dynamics CRM. I started my whole career in Microsoft Dynamics before the Power Platform started. Started as a technical consultant, jumped between technical and developer at the beginning, and then jumped also like to be a functional sometimes before, which gave me like an understanding how functional people think, how delivery happens as well. And right now I'm running Amplify IT, startup in Belgium. And the reason where we like why we're talking about is PowerUX, which we'll introduce in a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And Amplify IT, let's get a little bit into that because, as I've mentioned, it's a bit more of a special episode, but I do like to keep these conversations. So,
Sure.
Amplify IT, how long have you had that startup? Has it been a few years, a few months?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. So yeah. So basically, it's just like to be honest, like it's me. Started with only me doing like providing services for Microsoft partners or end clients as well. And then started to work with like I had another one on the team working on PowerUX as well, but mainly me providing services for my clients, like again Microsoft partners. Or so I'm not a Microsoft partner, I'm not a consultancy, let's say like an agency, but more helping delivery, whether with Microsoft partners or directly with end clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like you have, is it the first offering that Amplify has in terms of Power UX? Is it the first one?
The first product, I would
The first
say, but
product?
the first product, yeah. But we do
Yes.
like delivery of Microsoft Dynamics, CE especially, and Power Platform.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the first product. Okay, I mean, let's speak about it because it definitely caught my interest on LinkedIn and I think a lot of others as well. So please tell me if I'm wrong, but surface level, it looks like it gives you a more powerful alternative to business rules. Would you say that's correct?
I would say that's one thing,
Hmm.
like from let's say a no-code way of extending applications.
Hmm.
Usually you need to write JavaScript most of the time, and especially like mixing it up as well is not something maintainable,
Yeah.
right? So we always go with JavaScript into when we want to extend the user experience of model-driven applications. And back when it was like Dynamics, like CRM long time ago. So this came as an alternative, a powerful alternative that brings more no-code power to model-driven applications,
Hmm.
and giving low-code makers and functional consultants more tools to deliver, let's say, and extend model-driven applications, with the ability as well also for developers to do things faster, much faster, where like they're freeing up their time into more complex tasks within implementations.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's let's say one of like that's the most important, let's say, idea of it. Plus, giving you the ability to increase user adoption, creating a really good user experience in no time, I would say.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, personally, I've had experiences implementing JavaScript within model-driven apps, and I think it's very powerful in terms of, as you mentioned, enhancing that user experience. Like, I know different functionalities. Like, there's one that really annoys me, which is multi-select fields. You can't hide those out of the box, which is really annoying. You always have to use a script. So with things like that, I think the solution you have, and then some, would be absolutely incredible. I mean, talk to me about how the solution works. So From what I've seen, it gives you almost like a UI to work through. It looks almost like a bit of a Power Automate flow, something similar to that. Would you
Exactly.
say? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
And,
exactly.
okay. And you can implement some of the changes and your logic through that almost that flow that you're building. I'm not going to say Power
Yeah.
Automate, but that flow. Yeah.
So yeah, we actually like we try to make it so relevant to the maker as like something that looks like Power Automate,
Yes.
but does like use to extend the user experience on model-driven applications. So we tend to have like the same UI flow, the same kind of the same experience, but with really like readable to multiple levels, like whether you are a developer or you're really like don't have development experience. That's,
Yeah.
let's say, that's the end goal. It's not yet there, but that's the end goal of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can. That's yes. It's like it's also a model-driven application that you install only on your development environment,
Hmm.
and you don't need to generate like early binding files, etc. It's all like on the runtime. You see dynamically your metadata, and you're able to extend like different things and generate scripts.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we try also like is we try to make functional consultants act like developers,
Yeah.
generating really high quality JavaScript at the end.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I love that this problem you tackled doesn't just solve one thing; it solves multiple things, as you just mentioned. It's not just making things faster; it's making things more accessible, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop talking. I know we discussed perhaps showing what you've done and how the solution works. So, how do you feel about sharing your screen and taking us through it?
Yeah, would love to.
Let's do it.
Let me do that. Share screen.
Those of you at home, this is Ahmed's first time using Riverside, so please, uh, we're gonna cut him some slack here.
Okay.
But it looks
All
great,
right.
amazing.
Okay. Cool. All right. So PowerUX is as I said, is like model-driven application that you would have it from within your apps. Sorry, I will be like looking to the other
No,
screen.
no worries.
Um, Pretty simple. We're gonna go like a bit like through them. As you can see here, there are different. We call them UX flows, user experience flows.
Hmm.
So like really like Power Automate. And we're gonna have here like different statuses, as you see, like published. If there is something that has been updated and not published, and your draft ones. I'm gonna go here, create a new flow, and then I will choose the type. Currently, we only have model-driven, like to extend the model-driven form, or to extend or like to add a command bar, like on your ribbon, like a custom command. I'm gonna go ahead on form, and then you will see give like a name. I'll just like choose any name here, and then you select your table, and here where you see all the metadata that you have in your environment. You see all the tables, the custom one, the out of the box one, and so you can just like search. I'm gonna go ahead with contact, and then you see all the editable forms, whether like they're quick create or main forms. So I can just like choose a quick create form. I'm gonna go ahead and say create. All right, it tells me if there is another one, so I can say demo. So in here, then if I click edit, I will see the UI editor. And in here, as Power Automate, the trigger is your first step. But here we can select multiple triggers at the same time. So you will find first your the out of box one, like the static ones, if the form is loaded or the form save started. But then you will see based on what you have tabs. If you have a tab, if you have a column that has been changed, if you have a lookup, for example, lookup field, you will see that when the tag is clicked, some other things. We're trying to bring up all the possibilities in here, as well as business process flows, triggers, and more. For now, yeah, so you can like choose multiple ones, click save, and then go ahead. You'll see all the steps that you can have and you can configure within your flow. So we see here can start from simple as hide, display, look, unlock, and so on. It can be also like more like conditional logic, such as like conditions, for loops. We have variables, notifications, navigations, side panes, APIs, and more. So that is the main idea. I can just like simply go ahead and say, okay, trigger, then I select a condition here, and then I choose, you see here everything that I have on the form, or I can select a dynamic value, but that's a bit more advanced. So I can say, okay, if the job title contains consultant as an example, do a certain thing. And one of the things here that I want to point out is we put here plain text to make it really readable and easy to understand, let's say, the behavior. If I add another step as an example here, I want to give a confirmation message. So I'm gonna see here, so if it's true, confirmation message, and if the user confirmed or if the user rejected, it will do a certain thing rather than like icons. Try to make it like as simple as possible for the user to be able to like easily configure their logic. Here is like an introduction. I'm gonna go here and then do certain logic and publish it. But before that, also like we have here variables, so you can define your variable level here with different types on the level of this UX flow. I chose here the quickly create form. I'm gonna go back and then I have already something on contact. I'm gonna create a new one on the main contact, and I say when the email changes.
And Ahmed, not to take you out of your flow, but when you do
Yeah.
save these UX flows, basically, what is it doing in the background? Is it creating a web resource? Is it doing everything client side, like you mentioned? Like, how is that working?
Not yet. So still, you need to configure all of this. Once you hit publish, then we're gonna see right now, maybe like create something.
Okay.
Gonna, yeah, I think like, so if just again choose if the email is changed. I'm gonna say again, maybe say email contains Yahoo. And then do, for example, let's give a confirmation message and say confirm.
Not
Or
gonna have
yeah,
many of those, are we?
personal email.
Cool. Very intuitive.
And then I'll just say, okay, if the user confirmed, maybe just like show a notification. And if not, maybe we can set the value as empty. So we can say email, we can set it as empty. And in the form message, so here we put a message. So what I will do here is just like to show something else. So I can put like a static message, but at the same time, I can do some intelligence here. So if I hit add, I'm gonna see like preset values here, or some also like we'll see dynamic values. So I can see attributes that I already have on the form. I can see, I can say, okay, user dot, and then I choose a name. So hi username, and then something, all right. Give it information type, and then once I finish, I say save. And then I put here, like I just like hit publish. So what happens now, it's gonna generate code to translate this into JavaScript code, blend AI in it to have it like enhanced, have more readable and enhanced code, create a web resource, JavaScript web resource, add it to your like create it on Dataverse, add the code, and then add it to your model-driven form, add the handlers that you have selected, and then publish customizations. So what you need to go is just like to go there and do hard refresh on your form and try to see this in action. So yeah, once it's published, gonna refresh again. Okay, so after refreshing here, okay, I'm gonna change this. Okay. All right, so once I edit the email here, I get this dialog as the confirmation message. And if I confirm, and then I see the notification worked and the IntelliSys worked as expected.
Yeah, amazing.
Cool. Then and if not, so if I just do it again and say no, then it sits it as empty as we configured.
Really cool.
I'm gonna reshare the other screen. All right. So if I come back here, first I see here the maker is able to view the code that generated code. So if I click here, I'm gonna see what we have configured here basically. And I think like because I have another UX flow, so you see all of them in one web resource for the same form, you see all of them in one. So this is my function here when the email is changed, and I can see that it takes the email, and then if the email includes Yahoo as we have what we have done, it will do a certain logic, and you can see here my like dynamic notification that I have configured already. So this goes to this is basically a view of your web resource. And you might like as much as you have UX flows on the same form, it's gonna put it in one JavaScript web resource to not, let's say, have multiple web resources created for your form, just like one per form, and you're gonna see like different things. But what we are leveraging here is reusable functions. So if I have multiple UX flows, and in these flows I have similar actions like I'm on hide, display, instead of rewriting every step, we leverage reusability here. So we can see like display alert is defined as a function, clear value is defined as a function, confirm user is defined as a function, and we just call them there. We put a certain logic, and we call these functions. So if I have 3-4 UX flows designed by functional consultants who doesn't know like much about reusability, just like that, this is gonna be handled by the tool, having readable JavaScript that is like what developers like, what developers understand, right? Have something that is reusable and readable as well.
Yeah, it looks very
So
efficient.
that's the idea of it. Plus, also like from point of, let's say, solution architects or like these ALM processes, you need to take care of adding these scripts and these dependent form to a solution, right? Because this needs to be deployed to other environments. So we have here one of like the settings today. What we have is a default solution. So we have a solution here, like you select your solution, or like you can choose if just to add the web resource or the form with it or not. And this is automatically, whenever a new script is created, it goes directly added to the solution. In our roadmap, there is more actually. We're creating like you're able to configure projects and like choose different solutions automatically, goes like each script goes automatically to your solutions without bothering these low code makers. Just take care of this, publish, code is generated, and then these are added to your solutions directly.
Yeah, love that.
So that is the main idea of let's say what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ahmed, just a question. If I wanted to remove that script, how easy is that for me to do?
Just click like this and say disable.
Amazing. 2 clicks and it's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
No going into the web resource and taking it out or going into the form. You just amazing. Love it. Love it. Wow, what an efficient solution. Okay, and I'd love to give you the floor here. Where can the people download this? Is it available now, or will it be? And do you have a timescale when it will be available? If it's not now.
So this is the pro version. The pro version is already available. We're actually seeking early adopters, so we're giving this like special like a version. It's in app source in progress, so actually it's gonna be confirmed in 1 to 2 days. I guess like when this is like maybe like the video is published, it will be there. We already have a community version, and also like maybe like share it here as well.
Yes, please.
So the community version is available already. It's on GitHub as a solution, can be installed. All right, I'm gonna drag it here. All right, so this is the PowerUX repository on GitHub. So what you need to do is you just need to go to the releases here, go to the latest, you will see the latest release. And you will find in the assets here a solution. And you just need to download this and upload it in your environment, and that's it. You can start like publishing. The difference between the two, I would say, is there are more action steps than there will be on the pro version. Plus, in here in the community version we use like a static code generation, so not as good quality as we saw just right now. And the reason just like to give something back to the community with like suitable for freelancers, suitable for proof of concepts that can help people that can scripts are generated and just like can use them. So it's free to use, unlimited, no need to do a certain thing, just like need to install it and you can just like use it.
That's amazing. And for anyone who is watching this, the links will all be in the description. Ahmed will send them to me after this,
Sure.
so you can check them out there. Ahmed, so the pro version, how much is it?
So right now, actually, let's go to the website. We can go to the website.
Let's do that.
Okay, so this website is kind of like that's the first version. This is not available yet. Once it's available, it will be clickable to go to App Source. If you go to the pricing here, so this is the pricing, unlimited users and unlimited tenants. You just like need like have it on your development environment. This is for the end clients. Yeah, so to put like here, you have different requests, limitation per month, but this is the request like when you generate, like as we did publish, right? So this is 50 generated scripts, whether like an update or create, or create new ones. For professional is like 200. And from experiencing with early adopters that we have, 200 is actually a lot. Not a lot of companies consume this much, especially for end clients. We have a different engagement so we would put here also like we put give you also provide you a code for early adopter discount, and that we provide 40% off for the first 6 months. Again, like premiered by Power Academy, and and also so we also like we help Microsoft partners with this, right? They don't have to sell it to their clients, but they can take it and they can take that ownership to them. And even the scripts that are generated will be prefixed with like fully branded to them. Like we sell it as a white label basically, and to use it for all of their customers and like on their maintenance and implementation projects. It's not yet on the website. We have it here with early adopters. And also like one of the customers that they did in just 1 week 40 scripts. That's crazy. It's like crazy fast, crazy efficient. So this is let's say the pricing. Still we need to let's say the onboarding is not as automated as still needs to still work in progress, I would say. But we're waiting to have the app on Microsoft App Source, and you just like can take trial directly from Dataverse, put a license key, and you're able to create as much as you can. The key here is you don't need to have it like. Usually when you have an add-on, you have to include this add-on in your validation, test, UAT, production environments, which creates some sort of complexity in your ALM process sometimes. Or you need to import data as what the makers are configuring. I thought about it to have everything like smooth and simple, right? Is to have, okay, whatever is configuring, we have all the scripts here, and then you just need it in your dev environment. There is no hidden scripts that will, okay, is this licensed or not? Once it's generated, it's licensed, and it's gonna like work forever, except you disable it. But just need one environment, and then you can deploy these scripts to multiple unlimited environments. As they are JavaScript web resources, they are solution aware. So we're
Yes.
not bringing something like strange to your solutions.
Amazing.
Yeah,
No, love to see it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I have a few questions if that's okay. So if you'd like,
of course.
you can stop sharing your screen.
All right.
And again, all the links will be in the description if you want to check that out. I'm sure Ahmed has support lines if you have any questions. And what I loved about that is he had a free trial so people can try before they buy. And I really like that. Okay, so how long did this take you? This looks very comprehensive. I mean, like, how long have you been thinking about this? How long has it been in development?
Actually, it's a strange story. Actually, how it came. So as you know, like I'm a developer myself, and I was working on a project, and it was a complex project. At the same time, I have a lot of complex tasks at the same time, trying to navigate into different things to do. And there was like a certain requirement by the client that keeps changing every time, and I have to go back to my script. And we use a bundler, so you have to configure like a bundler, and you write your TypeScript, and then it's generated, and you have to add it and test it, and just like these little small changes. And from there, okay, I created different, okay, maybe like I create, okay, how to do things in an agile way, right? To handle these changes, because I have to understand that business requires different changes, right? So I have to keep also like my code like flexible. And then I started to think about the idea while I'm learning actually front end development. So I was okay, I want to do something, and it started actually a different whole idea. And then it just like hit me, okay, we already struggle with this. Let's find a solution. We already have Power Automate, we have a lot of stuff in no code, low code. Why not this? Why business rules limited for a long time and there is no enhancement there, right? So I thought about it, but long time ago actually, and I try to do certain things just like for like I'm learning front end development just to validate like am I doing well or not. And then started to create different scripts, and it worked, but not what you see today actually. It's just like just trying this out actually. And then it was branded as build.dev. It's not even PowerUX actually. And I had to, like I didn't see how this can be commercialized at the beginning. How can it solve? Because at the beginning it wasn't generating high quality code, or it's like more like scripts were really bad and had like a lot of things like added in it, but it works. But I didn't see it that it solves actually a problem. And then I stopped for a while, got busy with different stuff, and then as I believe in it, I went back to it and went like stronger. So I'm not sure like how much it took me to do this, because I reused a lot of stuff from the older version, and I like did recreate a simpler version that actually solves a business problem and make teams more efficient, but at the same time generates high quality code, right? Because we want to that let's say have maintainable scripts, or like maintainable solutions that what we are building.
Yeah.
So I cannot put like a time frame, but it took me time before, and right now starting on this is part of PowerUX. The reason why I like chose PowerUX actually, because I can choose like Power Rules or Power Scripts or something like that, is the goal is not only to stop here. The goal is to really give more tools and more possibilities to increase that user adoption of when implementing model-driven applications, dynamic CE apps, and so on. So in the roadmap, we're planning to have PCF controls that are ready to be reused.
Wow.
That is like using Fluent UI, something that is like really relative to how Dynamics looks like, how model-driven apps looks like. We saw a lot of controls. We saw some really on the community, some really creative controls, and but you have to have something like professional, as we already there are in the market a lot. and something that looks like it belongs to the same, like something that is like almost native.
Yeah.
That yeah, you don't have to something that looks like strange out of like these applications. With also we have still like we need to validate this as well. Some productivity tools for end users, some like different ways to make sure that Dynamics actually and Power Platform offers a lot, and this is like the reason why a lot of companies adopting this technology. But there are some gaps, and there are some. I've been hearing some users like complaining about like different things, different experiences coming from other platforms and coming from other solutions. So trying to like really help and fix this and make it like easy without having to spend a lot of time maintaining it because some like companies start compromising because this takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of budget to try to compromise these things. At the end, we have you will see like either end users trying to like be defensive into these changes and things that are implemented and so on. So that's the goal of it. So that's why I named it PowerUX. It's not just to limit it to generating scripts, but it's more than that. But we started with something that is strong and solves actually like a gap in the platform.
100%. And again, I know we've reiterated it, but I think it can't be said enough. I love that you've built it native into the Power Platform. So you've given makers
Thanks.
an experience that they're used to, like when they're building the business, when they're, I'm going to stop calling them business rules. When they're building the scripts using PowerUX, as we mentioned, it's almost like a Power Automate flow, the way it comes down and branches out. It's very familiar, and then you organize it all using a model-driven app, which is incredible. Ahmed, I'm always curious on like, I think it comes down, in complete honesty, to me not understanding specifically the work that goes into it. But how does someone create something like this? Like, for example, I think an iteration and something similar where people are still using to this day, to go off your point that Microsoft, whilst they can be good at adding features, enhancing existing features can be very difficult for them to do, as we've mentioned before this call, with the multi-select fields and business rules still not supported. So Scott Duro is behind the Ribbon Workbench, and I'm sure you've seen the Ribbon Workbench or interacted with
So
it. So how does someone build a product like that on top of the Power Platform? Like, is there a process that goes into that? Is there a specific framework you use? I mean, I think it's just for my curiosity, in all honesty, and how you started basically sitting down and coding this.
there is no actually something that you have to go through into like a selective libraries or stuff like that. No. But you need to bring you need to be a curious person that from your whole experience from dynamics, model-driven apps and more. But you're gonna see also like to extend maybe like you need to see like you have to have experience from different like as you said like libraries, front-end libraries and some other services to have a complete solution. Um, so it's just like about like learning and trying things. And the key, I think the key here is try to make things simple when you build it to be able to maintain it and enhance it rather than being stuck in the road in the process of you have like first versions working well but then going to the second step, third step, and then everything start to fall down. So you need to try things out first. uh, think about like like an architecture that is scalable and just like trying things that from technical, let's say technical perspective, is it possible or not? You can bring anything that is easy. You have to, let's say, try to get out of model-driven applications, like just a little bit, try to learn some other libraries that what you see suitable, and at the end try to learn how this can I can put it in whatever. If in the context of dynamics, we'll talk about the dynamics and model-driven apps and try to have something that is working. You can see also get a lot of inspiration how people did also in the XRM toolbox. There is a lot of tools, right? And people like has done really huge help, and you can see a lot of things that or they communicate with Dynamics like as an external tool. So you can do something similar, but you have to think about it to keep things again simple. That's, let's say, my first thing, my first take. Learn new things, try to have like these latest technologies, and try to come up with something that is useful. That's first, I'll say, my first point. Second point is to not being a perfectionist. So being perfectionist actually stops you because you keep waiting to have something, and then I think like it will become either obsolete or you will give up into it. You just like need to put something that actually solves a certain problem and start from there and start validating your product. Validating like are people like really seeing the value of it or not? And the problem can be not just the product. It doesn't have to be technical actually. Sometimes it's not. So like it's if I'm not sure like if that answers your question or not.
Absolutely, it does. And I think it highlights a very important point around validation. I think, as you've probably experienced with this, Ahmed, like you could have spent hours on this, days on this, months, even years, and released it, and no one wanted it, right? So I think it's always good to have an iterative approach to give someone a taste of something. Obviously, make it as good as you can, but don't strive directly for perfection because that can just hinder your progress. Ahmed, I have a very controversial question around generative AI and coding and development in general. How have you seen generative AI shape the way that you code on a day-to-day now? Like, do you find yourself, because I've seen a lot of articles of people saying that they've forgotten how to code because they rely too much on a generative AI. Do you think it's something that we're moving into a place where people don't have to know how to code anymore, or do you think that these skills are still important to understand and have a foundation on?
I think so. I'm not with the idea that okay, you start to forget. Maybe like it's an easy way sometimes to like to get started. Like I say, it's easier to get started. I usually like I myself use it, but I have to have, let's say, the experience like putting something into a system, right? So I have to understand what I'm putting at the end. I see that something like ChatGPT works actually to put model-driven apps scripts. But the key why you need to have maybe not everybody, but you have in your, let's say, in the project or in the company where Power Platform is adopted is to have people who are highly experts and focusing on having a maintainable solution at the end. So having like different scripts, yes, it works, but are you able to support it? Are you able to maintain it later on? So I don't see generative AI today replacing, but it's really a helpful tool that gets you started. Can be also like enhancing your code. But this is something that I see. Actually, this is also something that we have to be careful with. So in PowerUX, we're not using, let's say, okay, take this configuration, give me a code out of it. We take it into a process to be sure that we're not adding, let's say, the creativity of AI, just like to put something that is not there. So we take this configuration, we first change it into static scripting, and then we use AI to enhance that script that is generated to have it more readable. So I don't see generative AI, let's say today, replacing the whole thing, but I think it helps a lot of people really either like learn or can have something that works.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I mean, it's especially helpful when I've written something and then I put it into a system and then it doesn't work. And then I put it into a generative AI. I say, why does it not work? Oh, you've forgotten a semicolon, or you've forgotten like to close
That's really helpful.
a
Yeah.
parenthesis here, right? Because years ago, we'd have to go through with a fine-tooth comb and try and find exactly where the issue was. But for now, I think I'm definitely with you in the sense of having that foundation is very important, but I don't think I don't accept the fact I don't accept the point that people should ignore the generative AI. I think we should embrace it. But I think we should use it with, as you've mentioned, with intention, and not allow it, not putting code into systems that we don't understand. I think that's really where it's make or break for me. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's like absolutely important, especially if you have like a demo proof concept. Yeah, but if you're working on again, like working for a customer, like, or working within a company, that at the end the goal is not to do like to finish a task, but rather have like a solution that really scalable solution. That is something really important to see, and like we put like different practices into this. But I personally like, even it's faster to solve these issues that you sometimes you don't see it. So I personally use something like this. I put, let's say, code. Okay, what I'm missing here. Sometimes you're jumping and like between, like juggling between tasks. This can really be helpful, be more really efficient. So I can see it's an efficiency tool. Can later be like something else. I've seen also like really tools now that you can create actually working applications without even like writing code. But that's the start of it. Again, the goal is not to do something and just like release it, but the idea is to have something faster, but have something like scalable
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be super interested because it wasn't long since I was in university, and I remember being in high school and everyone who was into tech saying that they wanted to get into software development. I guarantee that if we flip things around, those people are now saying that they want to study AI or something like this. So I think in a lot of ways, software development isn't going away, but it's evolving. And I think we're in a very exciting time where people are starting to get the value of these tools and save time with it and make their code more efficient, which is incredible. I mean, Ahmed, this is amazing. I love seeing stuff like this. I mean, personally, I had a series when I started kind of blogging called Solution Sunday, where I would take a whole blog post and it would take me hours to write, and showing kind of how to embed JavaScript within model-driven apps. But I love that you've built something here that puts the power in the hands of the makers, and I think a lot of organizations would be interested, if you don't mind me saying. So thank you for demonstrating it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a
No,
lot for having me, actually. And it's like it's been a pleasure here. And I follow your work, and I really like what you're delivering.
thank you, Ahmed. Likewise. And I think we've mentioned it, but just for the people at the end, where can the people find you if they have any questions, etc.? All of the links that we've mentioned will be in the description. But where can people find you if they have questions?
So LinkedIn, let's say, it's like a primary, let's say, communication platform. That's one thing. I'll also like share the GitHub of let's say the repository of PowerUX. The website is already up, however, it's not yet, let's say, 100% functioning in terms of like app source and so on. We're gonna also like put there is an emails are already for PowerUX is also like available on the website, so people can just ask questions, or even if you install it, you're gonna see the help button, so you can send an email and reporting an issue. Still like again, like we're just like it's an beta close to production, so there's still some issues we already are aware of. So that would be really helpful from people to like to submit some ideas either, or some issues within the solution. What else? So yeah, I think like we've shared all the links with you, so you can put it in the video as well. My primary, let's say, communication, as I mentioned, is LinkedIn, and yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Ahmed. And I will definitely be checking it out. So thank you for your time. And thank you to those at home for tuning in. Yeah, as Ahmed's mentioned, feel free to bug him on LinkedIn. But for any PowerUX questions, the email is on the website. Ahmed, thank you very much for your time. Take it
Sure.
easy.
For that.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.